Welcome everybody to the David Ross Sports Village. Good to be with you in the heart of Nottingham, and welcome to our live stream of this game between the Nottingham Caesars and the Chester Romans. We'll get that graphic on the screen sorted out for you in a second. Now you will hear quite a lot of noise in the background, so we do apologise for that. They're getting ready here for graduation celebrations. And as a result, there's all sorts of drilling going on, a whole load of work going on in the background. And so you will hear some noise, but we'll try and keep that to a minimum. And we're glad that you're with us. Do let us know what you're thinking as we go through the game. I'm joined here by my good friend Simon. Stockwell is here as well.
Good afternoon, Karl. How are we doing?
Doing good. Just the two of us. But we do have a treat in store for you later on, in that Jason Scott, the Great Britain head coach, will be joining us later on, probably towards the beginning of Q3, where he'll be talking about the upcoming game that the Great Britain men's team have got coming up on the 5th of August at Coventry and Butts Arena. So we're looking forward to speaking to him. But we are going to turn our attention to this great encounter here that we've got in store for you today. Now, this is a match that is the second time these two teams have come up against each other this season. And Nottingham Caesars came away with a tight 21-14 victory over Chester when they travelled to Chester to win that game. But it was a tight encounter, and these two teams have really separated themselves from the rest of the pack in terms of the NFC1 South as being the two powerhouses in this division. Caesars unbeaten on the season, but Chester have also had some good results. They beat the Sheffield Giants 77-0. They had wins over the Northants Knights. They shut them out 40-0. And then Northants had a slightly better game back in May when they came, and Chester beat them 25-10, but a better showing there for Northants. They beat Sandwell, did Chester 60-6. So they've had some big results, but so have Nottingham. And these two teams today should be a really interesting encounter. Simon, what do you think? What are you looking forward to in today's stream?
I think really today it's going to be a battle of the offensive lines. Chester's offensive line, very strong unit. I would say their strongest unit on the team. The Caesars offensive line, again, one of their strongest units. But again, I think it's going to come down to the run game today for both teams. From the first game, that seems to be what the difference was. The Caesars managed to establish the run game a little bit more than the Romans did, and that's all it came down to.
Yeah, so here come the teams out onto the field. The familiar burgundy and yellow of the Nottingham Caesars, and Chester today are in their white kit with red as well. So it will be an interesting one. And of course, we're getting to the back end of the season. And, you know, these teams now really looking to get ready for the playoffs. Both of these teams should make the playoffs, depending on other scores around the country, but we expect them to be there or thereabouts. Certainly Nottingham, with their unbeaten record, they'll go into the playoffs with a lot of momentum. You can see they're getting ready for the coin toss now. Caesars, big roster. They've had a big roster all year, and they've had a really successful campaign so far. They've attracted a lot of talent from different university sides, from University of Nottingham, from NTU, from Loughborough. You'll see the helmets of those teams. The Nottingham Caesars often look like an all-star team, don't they, with all them different coloured helmets?
Yeah, very much so. Caesars still recruiting even this late in the season. The transfer deadline was only the 4th of July, and they've managed to sign Elliot Ray from the University of Nottingham and previously Tamworth Phoenix. Cy Roach, I believe, originally from Leicester and Tamworth Phoenix as well, and a couple of other guys as well, right up against the deadline.
And a lot of that comes down to Grant Dean Lawless, doesn't it? A lot of work that he's been putting in, and other coaches within Nottingham, but Grant using a lot of his connections just to reach out to players and say, look, we're building something here. As you can see, Will Hobbs, Nottingham Caesars, number 30 there. Caesars won the coin toss and they've elected to receive. So that's an interesting decision off the bat.
Yeah, I think with how the last game went, the Caesars got off to quite a hot start. Didn't score initially from memory, but, you know, I think with one of these games, you'd rather be... silly statement, but you'd rather be ahead than behind at all times. But I think this is a statement by Grant saying, give me the ball, I want to go score, and put you guys in a position where you've got to fight from behind.
Yeah, and they did have that early 14-0 lead over Chester, didn't they? Before Chester sort of came back into it, but they do like to get out to a hot start on offence, and they do have that exciting running attack to the Nottingham Caesars with a great stable of running backs that we will bring you to. We'll bring you some names as we get into the stream itself.
Yeah, I think you're going to be looking at. There's going to be Welly T, Niall Simpson, Chris Baby, all toting the rock today. Huge staple of running backs here for the Caesars.
And that O-line, I mean, I would say this because I'm biased, but a lot of NTU players on that offensive line, which is great to see from, I coach as the defensive coordinator for NTU, and to see our guys go on and have the sort of dominant season that they're having and really getting that running game going. It's been one of the highlights for me coming down and doing the commentating. So looking forward to see what those guys can do today as well. So getting ready for the kickoff here. Nottingham do like to do some fancy stuff on the kickoff, sometimes switching, sometimes receiver retaining the ball, keeping it himself. So we'll keep an eye on that as the game progresses. But they'll want to make an impact early on. They've had some big returns. So let's see as we get underway. It's a low kick. It'll be picked up at the 15. They will not go with the switch. Round the left-hand side and brought down at around the 36, which is where the Nottingham Caesars offence will take over. So a decent return. And Liam will bring out this offensive unit. Liam McGovern, the starting quarterback, also an NTU player, also managed to make the Great Britain 100-man squad this year as well. So that was great for him, and he's guided this offence well this season, obviously undefeated, and also put up some big scores. Welly T in the backfield, just to Liam's left-hand side. Pass on blitz coming straight up the middle, and great pressure. Number 34 for the Chester Romans, Tim Edwards, with some good pressure on first down, and Liam just had to get rid of it.
Yeah, it looked like a blitz straight up the middle, and nothing Liam could do there. He's just got to get rid of the ball, don't take a sack on first down.
2nd and 10 upcoming. Bottom of your screen, watch that receiver with the white lid. Welly T in pistol formation now. Liam takes a snap and he will give it to Welly T left hand side, and he will truck his way for a gain of about 6. So good run on 2nd down. We'll bring up 3rd and a manageable 4.
Yeah, great run by the Caesars there. Managed to open up the rest of the playbook for 3rd down. They're not necessarily constrained to the passing game here.
Now what a Chester do here. They bring that blitz again. You don't know what's coming as a defence on this, because with 5 yards they could run it, they could pass it. Yeah, like you say, the playbook's wide open, Simon. 3-4-man defensive line. Blitz is threatened. And it's a run. Welly T looking for the edge. Now he's having a cut back against the grain, and Chester do a good job. It's Tim Edwards, the man that was threatening blitz, that makes the tackle. Going to be really close, this one. Now we're right up at midfield. They're just outside, like you can see, they're half a yard outside Chester territory now, are the Caesars. And as they have done all season long, Grant Lawless, the offensive coordinator, he's made some gutsy calls in previous games. Looks like he's going to keep them on the field.
Yeah, Grant's not afraid to take a risk, particularly on 4th down. I think he trusts his defence with how the Caesars defence has played this year to be, we can stop you even if we don't get this.
Pistol formation, heavy set. 7 guys at that line of scrimmage. They will hand it Welly T, and he will make the 1st down and more. Still going. Big run, 10 yards on 4th down to convert and well into Chester territory. Nice running.
Yeah, great running by Welly T. I mean, that's his calling card. Power running, straight up the A-gap. Get out of my way. I want 1 yard. We're going to move these chains.
Now, I know it says on the screen it's Nottingham Caesars against Sheffield. We're just a couple of amateurs here trying to sort out the graphics. It's not Sheffield if you just joined us. It is the Chester Romans. And we'll try and sort that out later on when we get a bit of time. First down into Chester territory now. The Nottingham Caesars driving on their first drive. Motion into the backfield. They will hand it again straight up the middle. That's some good defence. Again, Tim Edwards, that middle linebacker spot, he's been busy today. He wants the ball as well by the looks of things. Maybe picked up a yard. 2nd and 9.
Yeah, Nottingham with the interesting fake orbit return motion as well. I think Grant is spicing up the playbook after the first game. You're going to have to throw some wrinkles when it was a 21-14 game first time round.
2nd and 9. Chester playing those receivers right tight at the line of scrimmage. With 2 safeties back, linebacker blitzes. This time Liam on the rollout, and he will complete that one. And that will go for a first down. Nice rollout, nice reception, and when you're keying that running game, when you get that running game going, it just opens up that playbook, doesn't it, for that receiver there to make the catch.
Yeah, particularly when you run game inside, and then you've got that boot action to the outside. You've got the defence flowing the wrong way. Suddenly opens up those lanes for those quick underneath throws.
That's Nathan Hall, number 88, that makes the reception on that one. Big receiver, well over. He's like 6'4" tall, and he's a big target out there for Liam to hit. XNTU. This time back to the ground game. Left hand side. Welly T breaks it outside. That's a nice run. Saw the hole just open up there, and then he managed to squeeze even more out of that. Pickup of about 7. Maybe 8. Going to pick up 8. 2nd and 2. Inside the red zone. Come the Nottingham Caesars on the first drive. They'll be happy with this drive so far, Simon.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been on that back of that man, Welly T. Looks like he's going to go for a spell. And it looks like Niall Simpson coming in the backfield, the Loughborough running back here.
MVP of the Bucks Division 1 final back in March. They will give it, and that's a good defence on that defensive line. That's James Hudson coming in to make the tackle. Number 4 for the Chester Romans.
Yeah, it was a great defensive play by him. Set the edge. Niall tried to run it up inside him, and he's just managed to get an arm out and stop him.
So gain of about a yard. It will bring up 3rd and short. You can hear them getting ready for the celebrations, graduate celebrations. That's for the drilling you can hear in the background. Pistol formation. They'll give it, looking for that yard off the left-hand side, and they will make it 2 yards. First down. Still fighting. Lots of aggression going on that line of scrimmage between these two teams. No love lost between them. Chester and Nottingham have had a rivalry dating back a long, long time. Both these teams are well established in the Midlands and have been playing each other over many years. Now we've got a player down. Looks like Victor Solberson, number 79 for Nottingham Caesars, is just on one knee. Just looks like he's after a little bit of attention. Now he's back up. Will he stay on the field? No, he's going to take a breather. So they swap in. They swap in offensive linemen for this new set of downs. Just at the 10-yard line, so it will be 1st and goal. What will Grant Dean Lawless dial up here? Here we go, first set. Over the top, looking for the end zone. That was very close. That quick fade off that line of scrimmage. And nearly hauled that one in, Simon.
Yeah, so close. I think Liam just put that half a yard too far. That's a heartbreak as well, because he would have been toe tapping the back of the end zone. I think that was a perfect throw if he leaves it half a yard shorter, and that would have been a great start there for the Caesars.
And it's the perfect play call for this offense, isn't it? Because they have such tall receivers. That was Ben Harrison, again into you player, just couldn't haul that one in. Second and goal from the 10. No motion this time. Man-to-man coverage. Now Liam having to roll. He's looking to his right-hand side. Nothing there. Good coverage in the end.
Yeah, that looked like really good coverage from the Roman, and then a good decision by Liam to throw that away. We do have a flag down in the backfield. I think this is going to come back for a holding call by the looks of it.
Well played by Chester as this pitch gets squeezed. They are stiffening. Let's get the call from the referee. Nice camera work there, Simon, zooming in on the referee to get that call. We're learning.
Yeah, looks like a hole against the Caesars. Not sure who it will have been against, but it will have been on the offensive line.
So that'll march him back to the 20. Second and goal from the 20-yard line now. Chester Romans played well there. They're just playing a man defense, aren't they, with a couple of safeties back. It's like cover 2 man, and they're bumping these big receivers at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it looks like a straight man alignment, and they're just going to hand the receivers off as they see.
This time Liam on the naked bootleg under pressure, and that's going to go incomplete.
Yeah, just a touch too high on that one again. Liam's, I think that's probably his only third or fourth pass attempt of the day, just getting himself warmed up.
Trying to get the ball to Elliot Harvey. But no joy. So third and goal from the 20. What do you do here, Simon? Just loft it in the end zone, try and get behind these defenders. They've got a bunch of tall receivers, haven't they, Nottingham, which is always an advantage when you get close to the red zone like this.
Yeah, they do. Or do you go for something short and hope you can run it in?
They do try and get it to the flat, and again, it's incomplete. Trying to get the ball to Willie T. So 3 incompletions, and that will mean they're going to bring on the kicker to try a 37-yard attempt. You just joined us, welcome. It is the Nottingham Caesars versus the Chester Romans, not the Sheffield Giants. And this is the opening drive of the Caesars. Q1 here. As they line up for the kick, snap is down, blocked by Chester. Great pressure off the left-hand side, and the Chester defense do a great job of shutting down that drive when it really mattered.
Yeah, they did. First and goal, they suddenly got them back to third and 20 looking in, and then it looks like the holder's fumbled the snap there as it's gone back, and the kicker's just punted it at the line to try and get it away. Chester offensive line here are going to come out and see what they can do.
So if you're a Chester fan, you're liking that turnover on downs after the missed field goal. Chester quarterback Richard Hackerman Ellison coming on to lead this team, and he'll be joined with Nathan Jukes in the backfield. Motion, they'll hand it to Jukes right hand side, and he's tackled by Andrew Wilkins from the Caesars middle linebacker, the veteran player. Pickup of about 3.5. Second down Chester on their opening drive now. They're going to want to get that running game going themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, pulling an offensive guard there. Look like they're going for a bit of a counter play there.
Wide trips to the bottom of your screen, but they'll hand it to Jukes, who gets a decent block, and he'll pick up another 2.5, 3 yards. Bring up about third and maybe 5.
This seemed to be the way the Chester game went the first time round. They just wanted to grind the yards out to start the game, see what they can get on these opening drives.
Lining those receivers out wide to get these defenders out of the box as the blitz comes. Quarterback rolling to his left rather, and he nearly had that.
Yeah, I mean, he nearly had a much deeper play. I think 2 or 3 Caesars defenders all jumped the rocket screen at the bottom of the field, and they had three receivers running off against, I think, 1 safety, and maybe the field safety trying to haul all the way across. That was very close. It was lucky the pressure was applied there by number 22, Andrew Wilkins, coming through the A-gap. Otherwise, I think we'd be looking at a Chester touchdown there.
Yeah, so maybe Caesars get away with one there as they come out on this 4th down. Just took a little bit of time to discuss what they wanted to do on this play, but the punt team is out. So Will Hobbs lurking there from the Caesars. Punt is high and short, and it won't even get into Nottingham Caesars territory. So after a couple of run plays, that incompletion will give the Caesars decent field position after that relatively ineffective punt. First down, Caesars at the 44-yard line of the Chester Romans.
Yeah, it was interesting that the first Chester pass play was a shot, or it was attempted to be a shot. Not sticking to the traditional throat short, give your QB a couple of nice easy layups to get him in the game. I think Chester might be worried about the Caesars' potential at home here, and they want to get scores on the board as fast as possible.
Liam McGovern back out. Willie T in a pistol formation. They'll hand it left hand side again, and just tripped up, manages to pick up maybe 3.5. These teams going to want to make a statement as we get to this back end of the season, aren't they, around who's going to be more dominant in the playoff run.
Yeah, I believe if the Caesars win today, they take the NFC1 South as well. This would be the division clinching game for them.
Second and 7. Motion from Harrison, and give it to Willie T up the middle again, and that offensive line doing a nice job on that trap block, just opening up the hole. Close to a first down. Be disappointed not to come away with any points on that first drive, but it hasn't harmed them in terms of field position. New set of downs, 1st and 10 at the 35.
Yeah, I mean, we've not seen much from the Chester offense so far, but the Caesars offense definitely looks like they can put points up today. I think it's just going to be a case of stringing it together when they get into the red zone.
First down. Tight formation. McGovern under centre now, and they're going to drive forward. Wow, it's an odd play call, isn't it? Why would you'd already got the first down.
Yeah, unless, and I'm not ruling it out that the officials has not communicated that it's a first down to them. That seems more like the 3rd and short play you would expect rather than a first and 10. And I think Liam's knee touched the floor as he took that under centre snap. So they've lost a yard on the play as well.
Oh, bizarre series of events on that play. So 2nd and 11. Blitz coming. Liam rolls to his right hand side. He will complete this one into the flat and cutting back. That will pick up a gain of 14 and a first down. They're getting yardage out of that naked bootleg. Liam seems to have got his eye in now on that.
Yeah, I think Chester are committing so much to Welly T and Arl Simpson in the backfield that if Liam does want to fake it outside, he's got the opportunity to get himself in space as well. So he's not even under pressure. He's just looking for a receiver to come open.
Mark Martin with the reception from his slot position. heavy. They'll try and get the ball over the top. Oh, very close, because that's the sort of play that receiver can make, isn't it? He's got great body control.
Yeah, Josh Oluwatassin is a great jump ball one-on-one receiver. We've seen him multiple times pick it up almost off a corner's head. Does look like we've got a Caesars player down on the field after that play.
Yeah, they went heavy set left-hand side, didn't it? It looks like one of those slot receivers has gone down. Try and get you a number. Actually, it is Nathan Hall, who made a reception earlier on in the game.
Interesting formation from the Caesars on that last play. 2 up-backs, both the same side. Almost as like butt sniffers on the tight end. It was a unique formation, I must admit. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, exactly. Nathan's making his way off the field, so good to see him up. Hopefully he just took a knock and he'll be able to shake that off. Second and 10. Sorry, well, it will be a first down, won't it, after that completion of 14 yards. So we'll...
Yeah, so we will be 2nd and 10 here.
Chester... One of the Chester coaches just speaking to the referees. As Simon celebrates the fact that we managed to get that graphic changed on the screen. Good job, buddy. Caesars Romans. That's what you're watching, folks. Not Caesars Sheffield.
Got there eventually. It's only taken me half an hour.
It's all about the result. Liam with the handoff, and that is great defence. Driving Willie T back. It's number 99 and looks like number 22, 23 in on the tackle. That's Charlie Smith coming in from one side, and Connor Curry sandwich Willie T and driving back. 3rd and 15.
Yeah, do you think we're going to get a jump ball again to Oluwatassin up on the top side of your screen here, or do you think we're going to get something over the middle?
Well, this is 4 down territory as well for the Caesars, isn't it? You would expect. So whatever they do here will give you some indication of what they want to do on 4th down as well.
Yeah, particularly after the field goal mishap earlier.
They will run it with Willie T, and he will get maybe 2 or 3. Well, looks like a turnover. And it is. The Chester Romans come up big on that play, getting the ball out. Well, it took a while for me to see that, Simon, but you spotted it straight away.
Yeah, Willie T, just as he was about to go down onto the to the turf, a Chester arm comes in and punches that ball out, and you could see it straight away. You saw 3 guys dive at the football, and then you see the traditional pile on afterwards when no one's got a chance of getting at the ball.
So Chester with the big turnover
to end the quarter as well.
I know, they blocked that kick and now they get the turnover. So for all the yards that the Caesars have got and the running plays that they've made, they've got nothing to show for it. As we end Q1. Well, fascinating encounter. Chester get the ball as the rain comes down here at David Ross. You can see it there on the screen, coming down quite hard now. So Chester and their quarterback Richard Hackerman Ellison, number 16, comes out for his 2nd series. So Nottingham dominated the first quarter in terms of possession, but just couldn't convert it into points.
Yeah, only 3 offensive drives as well to last an entire quarter. Being slow, methodical drives from both teams.
3-man defensive line for the Caesars as they drop a player, Mickey Fisher, into deep coverage. Play action and sack. Down he goes. Great play. So they just bring that 3-man pressure. But that defender, we'll get a name for you in a second.
Looks like Sammy Robertson, number 55 there from the nose tackle position.
Sammy Robertson with the big sack.
Yeah, it looked like the QB's going for these fake play action and then trying to throw the rocket screen outside. And Sammy is a very nifty nose tackle. He's not one of your big sort of, I'm going to stand there and not going to move anywhere. He'll get in the backfield and he's got there for the sack.
Second down, they complete this one. Gain of about 6. It's going to take them back to the original line of scrimmage for a third and 10.
Yeah, I think they're then scared of the pressure. Get the roll out, get away from the pressure. QB rolling straight out there. No hesitation with that one.
Completion was to Aaron Powell. Third down. Up. Looks like there'll be a flag on this one as they try and get over the top, and they do! That's going to go at the 20, at the 10. Touchdown, Chester Romans. That is Hussein El Ghul with the touchdown. And a great pass from Richard Hackerman Ellison on that.
Yeah, I mean, great work on the hard count. Get the guy jumping offside, and I think he's got the slot receiver just running down the middle of the field. The standard offside drill, go deep, see what we can get, and they've got the touchdown here. That's going to be heartbreaking for the Caesars because the Romans have not looked threatening to score, and then just one play gives it up.
Tall and fast. Hussein El Ghul outstrips that coverage. And just like that, Chester with first blood, having had none of the ball really in the first quarter, but they just come out in this second quarter with that big explosive play.
Yeah, I think that was Chester's 6th offensive play of the day, and it's gone for a touchdown. A bit of miscommunication here. Is Chester running players on and off the field? They still look a man short.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they got a full set out there, does it? Aaron Powell is the kicker on this. Ball is down, kick is up. And it's good. So, Chester Romans convert. Chester 7, Caesars nothing. Well, now the Caesars need to strike back and get their own drive going. It's not that they've not been able to make yards. They have. They just haven't been able to do it when it really matters, when they're close to that end zone.
Yeah, they've put together the methodical drives, the run plays, the short passes into the flat. They've just not been able to strike down at the end zone, have they? I'd say it was a tight game last time these two met, and it looks like it's going to be the same again here.
Apologise for the chat not being on the stream this week. We hope you're enjoying it, and we do miss your comments. We will try and work on that at half time as we get ready for the Caesars to see whether they can answer back. They've got their own explosive players as well, haven't they? And so, you know, I know that in that first encounter between Nottingham Caesars and Chester, there were some players missing from that Chester offence. You just wonder whether those key players being back maybe this time round, as the ball goes up, and it will be Will Hobbs who will give it on the switch to Oliver Tosin as he winds his way to the 36-yard line. So another good return. And Caesars will come out close to Chester territory. First and 10. Tight set. They'll flip it out to Welly T, who will pick up 3.
Yeah, it looks like Welly T is really going to be the backbone of the Caesars offense here. I think he must have about 10 carries already on the day, and we're barely into the second quarter.
I have had other runners in the backfield, but yeah, they are relying on him to get things moving, and why not? He's a great runner. I mean, to be the starter in this unit, you've got to really compete for it, because there's so many good athletes at that running back position for the Caesars. This time Mark Martin will just line up in that almost like a fullback position. They'll give it to Willie T again. There's some nice pursuit on the edge there from Chester. He's going to lose a yard. Really nice containment work there for Chester, just not giving him any space at all.
Yeah, very much so. I think Welly a couple of times has just been met 2 or 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You can make one guy miss, but at that point you're running sideways and you're running for your life. To even get back to roughly the initial line to gain is impressive.
I'm being impressed by Tim Edwards, number 34 of Chester Romans. He's always there or thereabouts, isn't he? In and around the ball. That's what you need from that middle linebacker spot. And Liam's going to get him on a hard count as the flag goes down. It's a free play over the top and incomplete into double coverage, but he knew he had the flag. So the Caesars want another flag for pass interference, but it looked clean to me. So I think that's going to march Chester back. Liam doing good work with his voice there on the hard count.
Yeah, I think that's one apiece now for the quarterbacks. They're trying to keep score, but obviously that Chester one so much more vital. Going down and getting the 7 points straight off it.
3rd and 4 now after that penalty. A yard outside the Chester half. Caesars looking to answer that score from El Ghul. And now changing the hash mark for the ball. Take it over to the right hash to the referees.
Looks like we've got James Draper, number 5 in the backfield.
Pistol, they will give it to Draper with good speed and good feet. He will pick up the first down, rips a hole, gain of 8. Nice play from Draper.
Yeah, great play. Fresh legs coming in as well, and I think you could see it there. He hit that hole with speed, and then suddenly Chester, he was back into the second level of Chester before they even started flowing and worked out what was going on.
Chester play a kind of 4-2-5. They have that 5 DBs around, in and around the line of scrimmage. As they threaten blitz this time, heavy set, they'll hand it to Draper, will go down in the backfield. Beautiful blitzing play from Chidibem Nwosu on that. Came from nowhere.
Yeah, that looked like a play that Caesars had at least even numbers in the box, if not +1 in the box. And then suddenly, one guy gets through, and it looked like one of those little toss plays you see nowadays in the college ranks. And that was it, blown up in the backfield, and that was a big loss of about 5.
He's playing that Sam linebacker position. He was up on that line of scrimmage and just beat his man. Just quick hands, quick feet, straight into the backfield. Was Nwosu on that play. Motion to the top. Again, they might have got him on a hard count, but I don't see a flag, so Liam's going to let this one fly. Complete. Olutosin with the catch.
It's that man again. You want the ball, you throw it up to number 81. That's really who the Romans need to be defending in the pass game today. I think you were right. I think no flag given. Looked like the nose tackle was stood up, but not quite offside. Doesn't matter either way. Throw it up to Josh, see what happens.
Just running a little curl route, wasn't he, outside, and did a nice job of just shielding the ball. Liam accurate on that one.
Yeah, I think these two have played together for so long that I think Josh also knows that if he's got a defender stacked over the top of him, Liam's probably just going to give it to him short and say, come back to it. I don't want to get this anywhere near the DB.
Hand off to Draper, and again that Chester Romans defence right there for a loss of 2.
I think that's 3 back-to-back runs now. No, 2 back-to-back runs after the big Draper run where the Caesars seem to be struggling a bit. Wonder if they're going to go to the air a bit more after that. They've had a couple of good pass plays, a few pass plays that have only just been a yard off. So I think they're going to go to it.
4th and 5 for the Caesars. They're not going to kick. They've already missed a field goal today, so they're going to keep their offense out there.
I was going to say, I think this is just out of Jackerman's range here to kick the field goal.
Liam has 2 backs in the backfield, Draper and Ben Pugh lining up in that fullback position.
I think Grant's taking a timeout, yeah.
Timeout Caesars to think this one over. So, timeout, Simon. Tell us what we're going to see. Prediction time for fourth down.
This is Grant. You could see anything from a simple dive to a triple reverse flea flicker going down the sideline. I never know what to expect from Grant.
You're predicting a triple reverse flea flicker.
I'm predicting that Grant has probably got that somewhere in his playbook. It would not surprise me. I would expect a mesh concept here of some sort. Get a couple of receivers running over the middle of the field. Someone to stretch it deep. Chester do seem to be playing this 4-2-5 defense, so they're trying to keep an extra guy in pass defense and then hope they can flow down to fit the run fits.
Trouble, I mean, who do you cover? You've got Nathan Hall, he's like 6'4", you've got Ben Harrison, he's 6'3", you've got Oliver Tosin, his quick feet and just great speed. Got so many weapons on there. Let's give you a close-up on that huddle. There's Grant Dean Lawless right in the middle of that, discussing the plays with his players. And here comes Liam looking confident. Here we go, fourth down. Critical play really for the Caesars, because they do want to get that momentum back. So if they don't get this and Chester do hold, the momentum's still back with the Romans. Here we go.
I'd say you wouldn't say it's a critical play this early, but it feels like it.
Draper and Ben Pugh in the backfield. They'll roll out naked bootleg. Liam under pressure, but he'll complete. Now there's some yards to make up, and he'll get there. Nice running on fourth down. Took a while for that one to develop, didn't it? And it was Elliot Ray with the reception.
Yeah, he was absolutely unflinching in the pressure, managed to get outside. And I don't think it's Elliot Ray, given he's a linebacker, and I've seen Elliot Ray's hands, they are dreadful. I think that was number 35, Ben Pugh there. Old Twinkle Toes getting the reception.
You are right. Ben Pugh with the reception and good feet to keep this drive alive for the Caesars. 1st and 10 at the 28. Play action and a pitch to Draper, left-hand side. Two defenders there, and Draper just barrels his way through both of them. Spins off, touchdown, Draper. What a run. Looked like they were going to get him, and he just would not be denied.
No, James Draper taking down 2 of 3 defenders, not going down on the field, and he takes that for 7. That was a huge play for the Caesars. That's exactly what they needed.
And that's how to get momentum back in a game of this importance at the top of this NFC1 South division. Don't just want to win, you want the bragging rights to say you're the best in this division, and the Caesars trying to hold on to that, and that was characterised by that run of Draper. Danny Johns on for the kick. Again, pressure from Chester, but it will be good. Danny Johns converts, and we have a tied game, Simon.
7 apiece in the second quarter, and I'm not going to be unfair to the Romans here, but their scores come off one play. Caesars do look like the stronger team here. They look like they've got the more potent offense, but it's just going to see what the Romans can get out of this.
So after all that action from the Caesars in Q1, it's James Draper that finally gets them on the board with a great 20-yard run into the end zone. It was initially good blocking and good design, wasn't it? But then it was all James Draper, just kept his feet moving, the spin move out of the tackles, and would not be denied.
Yeah, it was one of those great play designs, the old fake it to the fullback, flip it out to the halfback. The edge players here for the Romans seem to be biting quite hard on those inside runs. I think Grant's looking to take advantage of that. He wants to get the ball to the outside and challenge them in space, particularly whenever they've got 2 linebackers in the box. They've got to flow just a little bit further before they can go and make the tackle. I think that's what he's looking to take advantage of here.
So all tied up. Well into Q2 now. Chester will get the ball back. Just that one score from Hussein Elgul, but what a score it was. A 70-yard bomb from Richard Hackham and Ellison, as that one will just go into the end zone for a touchback.
That was very brave by the Romans returning. He left that, and that ball has only just trickled out, and only just in the end zone as well. I think they managed to place that about as well as he can in Coffin Corner. So, Caesar's defensive line coming back out here. Looks like number 17, Henry Scanlon, and number 55, Sammy Robertson. And I can't quite spy out who the Who the third player is there? That's number 93. I don't have a number, I'm afraid, for number 93 at the moment. But so, I'm sure Karl's got that name somewhere.
That's Kareem Hamdi.
Oh, it's little Kareem.
And you've also got Isaac Sarr out there, 54, playing that linebacker spot along with Andrew Wilkins. So, 3-man line, which is interesting for the Caesars. And they'll try and get this one to the flat. Now, can they rally and make the tackle? They do. So, it's Dukes to the flat from a pass from Hackham and Ellison. They're sort of not... They're playing off, aren't they? They're playing off these Chester Romans and then coming up to make the tackles.
Yeah, and given how the first game went, where it seemed that the Chester pass game didn't quite have it all put together, I think that's probably the way I'd play it as well. Protect the run game first and then try and make Chester beat you through the air.
2nd and 5 after that pick up to the flat. Twins to the top, twins to the bottom. Now they'll go in motion, but they'll hand it to Dukes up the middle. Big hole! That'll pick up a first down. Some good blocking on that B-gap. Wilkins had to come across to make the tackle.
Yeah, Andrew Wilkins, deceptively quick, managing to make his way across there to make the tackle.
He'll like that when he hears that back.
He will do indeed.
But maybe not the deceptively bit.
Well, you've got to be truthful as well as kind.
Twins top, twins bottom. Chester driving. 1st and 10. Motion to trips. And again, they'll hand it off, but that's going nowhere. That is Kareem Hamdi who made the tackle, I believe, on the edge there. Nice play by him.
Not to call his name again, but the person who actually made that play there was Andrew Wilkins. He dived straight in after the pulling guard, and that running back had nowhere to go, so Kareem could just come in to make that tackle there.
So a loss of 4. 2nd and 14. Hackham and Ellison, lots to do now to try and get ahead of these sticks. He'll go play action to the flats, and that is incomplete. Looked like it went through the hands of, I think it was maybe, I don't have a number for 14, I don't have a name for him, but went through his hands on that.
I think that was number 34. That might be the little fish, Paddy Fisher, down at corner. Can't quite tell as well. I was on the wrong camera, which is why I couldn't quite get it down there to
yeah, you're right, actually, but I can see Paddy lined up on that left corner position, so maybe it was him. Just seemed to go through his hands on that. 3rd and 14 as Isaac Sarr and Wilkins both threatened blitz. Hackham and Ellison calling out the signals at the line of scrimmage. Wilkins will come. Well picked up over the top to El Ghul. Oh, nearly caught. Trying to get similar sort of play that they had on the touchdown run, just trying to get it over the top of Paddy Fisher.
Yeah, it looked like there was a risk of pass interference there. I think the receiver tried to then just run through the DB when he realised he wasn't quite going to make it. Ref's not calling it here. We're going to be 4th down and 14. It looks like the punt unit coming on for the Romans. So again, the Romans are not quite a 3 and out, but I think only 1 first down on the drive. It's an interesting offensive game at the moment for the Romans here.
Punches going in from the offense and then counter punch from defense on that drive as they drive that play back. This is a much better kick, and it will be fielded at the 15. Right hand run, great speed, still on his feet now, cutting back against the grain, still going, picks up another block, there's another block on the edge, and finally it's Dukes that drags down Sam Fraser on the return.
We got a flag down at the 40-yard line. I wonder whether this is going to be a block in the back or a hold. Actually no, he's then throwing it at the point of tackle. Who knows what this could be.
Great return from Sam Fraser there, using the full width of the pitch.
Yeah, let's see if we can zoom in on the officials and see what they're going to call here.
You're getting pretty handy with this camera now.
I've done it once before.
It's a hold against Nottingham on the return. We just get a look at where that hold took place, where it was towards the end of the play, so it'll still be a decent return. It will mean that the Caesars it must have been that last block on the edge there, because they're going to have field position starting at their own 38. Just a 90-yard field here. at the David Ross Sports Village, but it is a great facility and has had some real classic games over the recent years in these Bucks finals.
Let's not, as a University of Nottingham player, let's not mention the 2 Bucks finals.
I know, we're not mentioning. That's the first question I'm going to ask Jason Scott when he comes in.
I'm sure he'll take very kindly to those being mentioned.
This time they'll run it to the right. Welly T back in the backfield, and he's dragged down from behind, which he needed to be because that looked like it might have gone for more. 4-yard pickup on first down. Nottingham going hurry up to try and stamp their authority on this game.
Yeah, a staple of Coach Lawless's offense is this sort of hurry up, no huddle look. He wants to keep the people on the field, keep them moving, and not allow substitutions as well.
Second and 6. And Chester don't want to give the first down. They want to bring up that third down.
Yeah, great running by Welly T. And he's managed to pick it up the middle. It looks like we're going to be a 3rd and 1.
Into the Chester half. Go the Caesars again. 3rd and a long 1. Getting the signals in. Ready to go. They have 7 men at that line of scrimmage. They'll bring Harrison in motion to the bottom of your screen. Just Welly T in the backfield, and they'll give it left hand side. And he will get it. He was dragged back, but he had enough forward momentum for the first down. And the Caesars keep this drive alive as we come towards the end of this Q2.
Yeah, I think Welly T saw a hole open, and knowing he's only going to need 1 yard there, absolutely dove into that line, pick up the yards, let him get through there for the first down. I told him where.
1st and 10. Welly T, left hand side, still going and driving his feet, will pick up 8 tough yards through the heart of that Chester defence. Second and 5. Liam getting the play call in. He's got Ben Pugh in the backfield along with Niall Simpson, the Loughborough standout. One on either side of him, but referees will blow this dead. And that is the 2-minute warning. So as we come to the end of this first half, the Nottingham Caesars looking to get a score on the board and take the momentum into that half-time locker room. Liam will hand this one to Ben Pugh and he'll go nowhere. Ball is out and it is a Chester recovery. Now, it looks like Chester will have the possession, and they do. So another big turnover from this Chester defence. And that's the second forced fumble. It was Callum Johnston who dived on the ball. And I believe it was Denzel Edwards that may have caused that fumble. So a great job by this Chester Romans defensive line. They've been really good in managing to just take away the ball in critical situations and stop these Caesars from getting points on the board. Back out comes Richard Hackham and Ellison into 2 minutes now. Just outside, about 4 yards outside the Caesar half. Handoff. No, it's play action. Oh, and that is incomplete. They were trying to get the ball to Simba Ojuk, but just couldn't hang on. Richard Hackham and Ellison, he had the look he wanted, which was single coverage and receiver kind of knifing back inside. Second and 10 for the Chester Romans. Play action. And that is complete over the middle for the first down. Chester get a fresh set of downs, but they'll need to move quick. So, fresh set of downs for Chester as we come to the end of this first half. And I'm very pleased to say that GB men's coach Jason Scott's joined us in the booth. We'll have a quick chat with Jason straight after this play. First and 10 for Chester. Pressure. And Hackerman will go down. Great sack from Boris Gavin. Actually, not Boris Gavin, that is Henry Scanlon. Jason, welcome to the booth.
Hello, Karl. How are we doing?
Very good.
Lovely to see you. Nice, the quick jog there.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me in.
Bit out of breath, having to run up and down the gantry here in our weird control room. So you're here watching the Caesars Chester game. What have you made of the game so far?
Yeah, it's been really, really good. Neither team have really got the ascendancy. It's been a real war of attrition kind of play between the two 20s. Obviously, Chester had a big splash play at the start of this second quarter, which was morely, thrust upon them by some lapse in concentration by the Caesars. The little false start and the check to the seam fade, and then obviously Caesars have been kind of battling back. I think there were some really good runs from the Caesars.
As we go 2nd and 15, they're trying to get that one, and that will be just incomplete. Trying to get the ball that time to Aaron Powell, but no success.
Yeah, lots of talent on the field for both teams. The future is bright. There's lots of young talent as well. Lots of people I recognise from university football up and down the country on both sidelines, and it's a good game. I think that we need more games like this in British American football where it's close. There's too many blowouts. I think this is a testament to the coaching staff on both teams, the quality of programme and quality of organisation on both sidelines.
Yeah, it's been exciting and had all sorts of action so far. We'll come back to Jason. I want to ask him so many things we could talk about. As this one looking to go over the top and incomplete. So Jason, obviously you're getting ready now for the big game coming up for the GB men's. How is preparations going?
Yeah, it's been really, really positive. Big game on the 5th of August in Coventry. We've got one more practice on the 29th of July, where we're going to have 6 hours on the field, 3 hours in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and that will be our 14th practice this year. So already we're developing a little bit of chemistry. We've got a good idea of how we want to attack the French team, both offense, defense, and special teams. And I think it's testament to the players who have all bought into the vision that we're putting down, and they want to see American football in the UK succeed. And I think by beating a team that I would refer to as a blue blood, like France, at home, would be a real moment for American football in this country.
3rd and 20, and that one is picked.
Will Jepson.
So Jepson shuts down the drive, and that's what Chester have been doing to the Caesars. You know, key turnovers in key situations, and Caesars that time make a great play to get the ball right back towards the end of this half, and it's just been seesaw back and forth, 7-7 deadlocked currently. So France, they are, as you say, blue blood, and taking a cap like them or getting a win against them would be a great result. How much film do you get to study of, like, when you're playing these international games? Do you get a lot of stuff that you can look at?
We've got a really, really good coaching staff. Not just the coordinators and positional coaches, we've got a team of really talented graduate assistants and quality control coaches who have scoured the internet for footage. Yeah, we've exchanged some tape of the French team, and we've got their Austrian tape, but we've picked up bits and pieces elsewhere, and we have a good idea of how they think. We're watching a lot of tape of the ELF games, a lot of tape of the French domestic game, and see how their coaches think and how they operate. So it is all out there if you look hard enough, and something we've really been leaving no stone unturned to really try and understand how the French team think.
2nd and 2. I'll come back to Jason with some more chat in a second. Liam now looks to his right hand side, pressure coming. That is Oliver Toussaint. And that is a rare drop from him, just trying to turn upfield before the ball was in his hands. So Jason, it feels like it's like a bit, you need that those great coaches kind of piece all the different bits together, and you're almost scouting individual coaches in other teams to find out their thought processes going in.
Yeah, absolutely. What we want to do more than any other team in certainly national program history is do the things that haven't been done before. Try and find a competitive advantage by looking at coaches. You know, leopards don't change their spots, and coaches have a certain way of going about things. So we're looking at the O-line coach and how he likes to coach his guys, looking at offensive scheme, and just looking for technique and really just drilling down. We want to be able to think like the French team do, and so we can react accordingly on game day.
Sack that time by Connor Curry. Liam going to the naked bootleg one more time, but Connor Curry all over that with the sack as we come to the end of this half. Jason, tell us what it's meant to you to run the program, the GB program, and as you've done it in terms of the inclusive nature. I've been down and you've run coaching clinics down in David Ross here. You've gone through the whole process of having a 100-man squad, getting lots of players into it so they feel connected to GB, and then you're whittling it down to those key players. Tell us about that whole process and how you've gone about that.
I think there's a lot of talent up and down the country. We've got players from Scotland, from southeast England, from the West Country, and we aren't able to do that without being inclusive and trying to welcome everyone on board. We recognise that the talent in the UK, I think, is on par, if not better, than any other nation in Europe. You look at the guys currently doing great things in Europe. Dwayne Obi is the leading rusher in the GFL. Lewis Thomas is a captain of an ELF team. We've got players playing in the CFL and the NFL. We've got a lot of talent, and we just need to find them. And sometimes the light hasn't been shone on them yet to allow them to grow. And that's what we want to have. Last December we had 390 players come to try out. We whittled that down to a 100-man second trial in January, and that's what gave us our roster. And similarly with our coaching staff as well, we want to make sure we're bringing in new assistants every year. And we had over 50 applicants for assistant coach roles in December. And again, that new influx is really, really important. I've always said we want it to be the most inclusive, most open, most transparent national programme there's ever been. We want to share best practice, or what we think is best practice. We want to share our techniques and the drills that we run, and we want to try and up-level British American football as much as possible. Rising tide lifts all ships, and we don't want to be secretive about the things we do. We want to be open and transparent. And again, we've got guys from the Army American football team coming to watch practice on the 29th. So it's all about that, is opening the doors and really welcoming everyone who wants to be here, who wants to learn about what we do and how to up-level their teams. And
I know how committed you are as a coach to all the organisations, whether it was Tamworth, whether it's Bucks football, UON, and now with the GB men's. I mean, how do you fit it all into the schedule? I mean, it must be quite a lot of pressure to be that figurehead of the national programme. So how does it feel personally to take that on?
It's tough, and certainly last year I felt the pressure a little bit, having 3 teams and 3 high functioning teams at the same time, and letting Tamworth go last year was something that I didn't do lightly, but I felt it was necessary for both my sanity and for the growth of the other teams. It all goes back to the coaching staff. We've got excellent coaches both at the national team level and at University of Nottingham, and I empower them and empower the captains and the senior players to be those leaders. I don't see myself as the figurehead or the role model or the leader of the team. I'm just one cog in the machine, and no one person wins in a team sport. We all win, and we all win together. So again, being able to delegate and to allow people like Duncan Burford, Adam Lillis, Matt Davis, Grant Lawless at the international level, and again Ben Davis and Alec Glenn and Rafael Mazusi at UON to run things how they want to run it. By the time game day comes along, it should really be an easy day for me because all the processes are done, and that's one thing I always try and do is we are process first. I want to make sure that we stack up enough practices together, and then hopefully the wins on game day will be a surefire thing because we know what to expect, we know our game plan, we know the strengths and weaknesses of our team and their team, and it's all about stacking and putting ourselves in the position to succeed on game day.
Chester still driving here. They're now into Nottingham territory with just a few seconds to go in this half. We'll see whether Richard Hackham and Ellison can make some magic here as they send everyone downfield, and that will go incomplete. Now, Jason, got the big game coming up on the 5th of August. What's the message to people who might be watching this stream or they'll watch the replay in terms of supporting that national team? I'll be down there obviously doing some of the commentary, so I'm really excited about it, looking forward to it. But how important is it to have that support for our national squad?
As I just said, we win and lose together, and this will be a huge win for British American football. I want people to come down there because, firstly, I want us to celebrate British American football. I want us to celebrate all the positive things we do. I want to celebrate all the players and coaches who put the hard work in. And again, this is a watershed moment, I believe. And I want people to say that I was there when the national programme, the Great Britain Lions, beat the French in our backyard. And I want to make sure that people enjoy the process. We've got an under-14 flag festival at half-time. Again, want to shine a light on them. We've got guests from all over the community. We need to make sure we have a big crowd there. The challenge is that when we had 890 people at Worcester, Butts Park holds 3,000, and I want to be able to say we can fill something like that. A lot of people talk about an ELF team in England and an ELF team in the UK. Let's prove that we can host them by having a big sellout. Let's prove that there is passion and commitment and drive for British American football and football in this country. Like I said, we've got a huge amount of talent, and I want to be able to showcase what we can do.
Great stuff. So you can see on the screen there, Simon's worked his magic to get the graphic up. Great Britain Lions versus France. Butts Park Arena in Coventry. Easy to get to. Saturday the 5th of August. We'd love you to be there and support your national team. Jason Scott, been an absolute pleasure to speak
Thanks,
to you.
Thanks for having me, and good to see you, Simon, as always.
Good to see you.
It's £10 a ticket for an adult, £2 for under 16. It's a cheap day out. It's going to be a great. I want to say that this is the best example of American football in the UK outside the NFL games, because it should be. Yes, the NFL come and they put on a great show and some phenomenal athletes, obviously, in the NFL. What's after that? Well, it's the national programme. This is going to be the best athletes from France, from the UK, participating, competing on home soil. It's going to be the best example of American football, I think, outside of the NFL season. So let's get down, and for a fraction of the cost as well, Karl. £10 for an adult, £2 for under 16, and any members of any national programmes who have played before, it's £8. So let's pack out the Butts Park, and I want to see 3,000 people supporting the Lions and roaring on the main men.
What a great atmosphere that will be. Jason, we'll let you go and we'll take a break for the first half. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to get your ticket for Butts Park on the 5th of August to see our Great Britain Lions. Very proud of them we are. Jason, thank you ever so much.
Thank you
And
very
we
much.
will speak to you on the stream just before the start of half time. See you then. Welcome back to the David Ross Sports Village. Joining you for the second half here. We've managed to get through the technological wizardry of Simon Stockwell, who's joining me here. The chat now is live, so do let us know what you think of the game. I'm very pleased to say Jason Scott is still with us as well and is going to give us some of his expert analysis as we get into this second half. Score is 7-7 and it's been a tight game for this both of these units. The defence has caused key turnovers. Certainly Chester coming up with 2 fumble recoveries, and then towards the end of that first half the Caesars came up with an interception of their own to shut down the Chester offence, and it's been a back and forth battle, Jason.
Yeah, like I said before, war of attrition. Neither team want to win it, neither team want to lose it. I think with the giveaways and the takeaways and the lapses in judgment, I don't think any team really has really stamped their name on the game yet. It'll be interesting to see how the Romans come out in the second half and see if they're going to continue with their passing attack, because the Caesars defence has been very good on the pass defence, both rushing the passer and in coverage.
Here's El Ghul on the return, but that's good coverage. And it's Sam Fraser with the
Fraser,
turnover who picks the ball up and he's in. So
ripped.
Sam Fraser rips it from El Ghul's arms and scores on the kick return.
I've never seen anything like that in a long time. That was quite remarkable. It looks like Sam Fraser beat his guy. There was great pursuit on the kickoff coverage. And as Sam wrapped up the player, he almost let go of the ball and he almost rugby style ripped the ball out and just trotted into the end zone from 5 yards out.
So that's what they needed, the Caesars. They needed something like that, and they'd get a big break on the opening play to put the score to 13-7. And you see that as like an individual effort, or do you think that's something you can coach, Jason?
That's just a heads-up play. I mean, Sam Fraser is an athlete, is a baller. He had the big punt return against the Romans last week, and it's a heads-up play. He's a savvy operator, is Sam, and I guess the opportunity was presented to him, and he had the opportunity to score. I mean, it's a heads-up play, isn't it?
Danny Johns makes the point after, so that'll tag on another point, and Chester in a hole early. Their offence has struggled really to get momentum going. They had that one big play to El Ghul, but other than that, the Caesars defence have managed to shut them down.
It'd be really interesting that with the Caesars travelling lighter than they would normally, whether they've got people on special teams who wouldn't normally play in those positions, and it looked like there was a big leak on the kickoff coverage. And I know Grant Lawless has really perfected this stacked kickoff coverage team that we saw Italy run last October, and it seems to be reaping the rewards and paying dividends.
Yeah, you'll see it there, and that's where it came from. It was the scouting of the Italy team that Grant's brought to Nottingham, and like you say, it is getting rewards. Just go straight back to El Ghul, and he will pick it up, going to his right hand side, and drives his way to about the 27 is where the Chester Romans will take over to try and answer that fumbled kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah, I just didn't see any of that front line picking people up, and by the time we got to the second level, the mindset of the coverage team needs to be destroyed, blocked to the second level, and they've got some athletes back there by all accounts, Chester, but they're not given the opportunity to make any football moves.
Now, you spend a lot of time, both at GB and UON, working special teams a lot, and how do you fit that into, how do you see special teams in terms of the overall time that you're giving to your practice sessions?
And it's a vital part of the game, and coaches, the old cliche will always say there's three phases to the game: offense, defense, and special teams. I said there's 4. There's offense, defense, special teams, and sideline, but that's by the by. I think as a head coach, you need to practice what you preach, and you need to make sure that special teams are front and centre in your game plan, and you make time for it. And in the same way that you got indie drills and team periods, we try and proportion at least a quarter of our time at practice on special teams, whether it's running positional drills, whether it's running run-throughs. And I think, again, it really pays off, because it's certainly in the past few years, whenever the chips are down, we always seem to come up big with big kick returns or recover onside kicks, or collect first downs off fake punts. So it's something that we really pride ourselves in.
Great stuff. We'll continue to chat as we bring the action as well. So that's Bertie Piper, number 83 on the tackle there for the Caesars. Sorry, that was Kareem Hamdi on the tackle. So nice play there. Third and 7 for Chester. Going deep in the middle, there's nobody there. There was Caesars players all over that, and just missed time throw.
Yeah, far more pressure by the Caesars there. I know they brought the inside linebacker up the middle, which caused the pocket to collapse from the inside out. The quarterback couldn't really step up, and all those deep routes were well corralled. We got Mickey Fisher and Will Hobbs deep, and they're two astute safeties who should know what they're doing. Again, it all comes from the pressure. I'd like to see Sammy Robertson at nose tackle get off his block. He's getting a lot of double teams at the moment. Hopefully, by bringing extra pressure, allow him to be one-on-one, because you cannot really solo him.
And they're bringing pressure with a 3-man line as well of the Caesars, as the Chester Romans back to punt now. Better kick this time, and Oliver Tosin will pick it up and field it, and he's got some space to his right hand side as he turns the corner. It's Sam Fraser, actually, not Oliver Tosin. They will bring him down, but not before he's back into the Chester half, all the way to Chester's 35. Good field position for the Caesars. And is this the turning point now? They score this drive, you feel like it could get out of hand?
Absolutely. I don't think necessarily that play. I think it all depends on the offense. The offense haven't been on the field yet. I think if Chester can hold them here again, that will give them a little bit more belief. I think we need to see something a little bit more from the Caesars offense here, with a quads flow look for receivers, the 3 receivers and the running back to the same side. Maybe look to Oliver Tosin one-on-one to the top of the field.
Liam takes a snap and he'll go play action over the middle, and that's caught for a quick hitting gain on the slant. That's picked up by, we've said his name before today, it's Elliot Harvey on the reception. Those quick hitting inside plays, difficult to defend, Jason.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the Caesars are so determined to stop Welly and Drapes and all the running backs. They're really committing to the run. And look at the linebackers there, only maybe about 3 yards. The safeties are low. They want to stop the run.
This Welly T up the middle, and he's going to keep his feet going and just squirts for that first down by the look of things. Good tough running up the middle.
I'd like to see a little bit more variety in that sort of world. They get kind of bogged down with the inside run. I know they ran a couple of tosses and run the speed option with Draper earlier on. Let's see a little bit more variety when we get into this scoring zone, this high scoring zone on the 28-yard line, 25-yard line. I'm
going to come back to in a sec to explain the 4-flow formation that you signalled out in earlier as we get to this 1st and 10. Again, it's Welly T up the middle. Nice hole initially. He keeps his feet going. So that 4-flow, what does that give you, that option where you've got the running back and then 3 receivers all to one side?
Yes, I think the Romans are, with their low safety look, they're running a lot of man coverage. And by having 3 receivers to one side plus the running back, it really puts the linebacker in man coverage in a bit of a bind. They've stacked the 1 and 2 receivers, so I think that's Ben Harrison out there and
Nathan Holt.
They're wide here. They're going to try and work Elliot Harvey in little snags and hitches over the middle, try and separate people vertically to the boundary, and you've got always the ever dangerous Josh Oliver Tosin by himself on an island to the top of the screen. I think that's an interesting thing to do, is to try and create mismatches with linebackers on skill players.
Now this is a key injury for Chester, because it's Tim Edwards who's down. He's plays that will linebacker position for Chester, and he's a key part of their defence. So we hope he's okay. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 5. Now Grant does some work for GB, doesn't he, as well as UON? How's that relationship been built over the years?
Yeah, Grant's really, his attention to detail is really good. He's an ideas guy. He'll always do the hard work, and certainly seeing some of the research he's putting into scripting, into scouting, and identifying our strengths and weaknesses as well as those of opposition. So we do a lot of self-scouting. Grant's really good at that. And now he's obviously our general manager at national level, and also coaches our tight ends.
2nd and 5 then, showing that forward flow that we've been talking about. Again, great to have Jason here to identify that as they give to Willie T again, and he's going to pick up a couple. And this is what you're saying about a little bit more variety out of the formations and maybe some wrinkles that they can add into this.
You can see Lee McGovern wants to kind of run the pump fake afterwards, so they're handing the ball off to Welly there and trying to throw something. I know they ran a little bit of motion in the first half with Ben Harrison motioning in and trying to draw people and separate. And look how tight that box is there. You know, they've really packed in. Yeah, we've got trips bunched to the top of the formation. You know, this is a
pistol set. Willie T, left-hand side, using his quick feet to make more yards after the initial contact, and good tough running again.
Again, this is grinding them down now to start the ball. From a great run from Sam, taking them down to the 35-yard line. They keep it moving. Not necessarily throwing the ball a bit, but again, they're wearing them down with clever use of formations and misdirection. I think here, you know, again, we've got this trips bunch. Now the running back is in what I would call gun minus, away from the bunch now. So I would say this is going to be a pass play.
Liam with handoff to Ben Pugh, and he goes nowhere on that. Number 90 coming in there. That is Jack Harvey on the tackle for Chester.
Yeah, interesting. The last 2 times they've run that bunch, they've either been pistol or the running back to the formation where they run either a stretch or a pitch play. Again, maybe they're trying to set something up by putting them in good minus to try and look at something different.
2nd and goal from the 10. No pick up on that play. Ben Pugh now lining up to Liam's right hand side.
I'd like to see a back shoulder fade to Ben Harrison here. You know, they're in man coverage here. You know, let's use his length and his size.
Liam will look that way. He's having to roll out under pressure, and he will try to get the back of the end zone and just throws it away in the end. The receivers seem to curl away from his rollout on that.
Yeah, I think that's certainly an area that when we've worked with Liam in the past, it's an area that we want to try and get him. He's been part of the GB team, he's part of the 100-man squad. An area we'd like him to really work on is to be strong in the pocket and not have to use his legs as much and to step up and throw balls. And yes, he's hampered by the offensive line that's picked up a couple of injuries and he may not be as confident, but I'd like him to stay there and not have to wiggle out of danger, because a lot of the time he puts himself in more danger by rolling into pressure.
Ben Pugh still in the backfield. They do rotate these running backs in, so it's Ben to Liam's right hand side, tight end in as well. They will go play action again, immediate pressure again, and tipped and almost picked. Luca Guzzo, Chester Romans player there, right in the throwing alley of Liam McGovern, and that was close.
This is 4th and goal now. They're going to bring the kicking unit on.
Had that blocked field goal earlier, but yeah, it does look like they're not. They don't want to go. It's that Grant Lawless rolling the dice on 4th down. He's got Ben Harrison matched 1-on-1 to the bottom of your screen. Oliver Tosin to the top, along with Elliot Harvey.
Yeah, delay of game. They're running a check with me there.
And they'll throw the flag for a delay by the looks of things.
In the grand scheme of things, that's not a bad delay of game to take. It's only a 5-yard penalty. The kick was makeable from where it was. It's best to sometimes take a penalty like that and to make sure they're sure of what the play call is.
It's that game of blink with the defence, isn't it? As that clock continues to tick and you're holding at the line of scrimmage, and Chester do a good job of not reacting to that and staying on side. So they'll keep the offence out. 15 yards away from the end zone now. Trips to the top of your screen. Now they'll motion a tight end in. They got Ben Harrison to the bottom, but Liam's going to look the other way. Olatosin just out of his grasp. Overthrown that time.
Again, Chester stand firm, and that's what we're talking about earlier. Is they're going to take a little bit of belief from that. Bend but don't break. They got down to the 10-yard line and sent the Caesars back.
And they've been doing that the whole game, haven't they? As the pitch gets squeezed, you feel like those fades to the back of the end zone. There's been a couple of those where Liam, you just feel has been a half a yard out.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure that, again, with Josh and with Ben, certainly got the range to go in that back corner. I'd like to see back shoulder fades to the front of the end zone. Because the Caesars, the Romans are in man, they're turning to the receiver. And I think, again, with their football IQ, they should be able to get home.
Hand off this time, Chester with a new running back in. That's Alex Martin trying to pick up what he can, and he maybe gets a yard.
It's good pressure again from the linebacker. I think what the Caesars are trying to do, they're trying to blitz the linebacker away from the running back and force him to cut back.
Yeah, they haven't had a lot of success with those runs up the middle.
I won't be surprised to see Will Jepson blitz here to the field.
So Jepson will drop. Wilkins let his man go, and then Jepson having to come up to make the tackle. Makes a nice tackle in the end using his athletic skills. Maybe an inch gain on that. Nice tackle.
Yeah, they just brought 3 men pressure there. The ends pinched into the B gaps and allowed 8 man in coverage and allowed Jepson to read that crosser and pick him up.
3rd and long now for Chester. Trying to come back into this game. Still 1-score game. They motion the running back to the opposite side. He'll go to the flat. That'll be reception to a wide open receiver. Wow, you wonder how that man got open. Think it's Aaron Powell on the reception. We'll just check that. I don't have a... Yeah, it's Aaron Powell, number 14, with the first down and keeping the chains moving.
I don't know whether they're in cover 4 and they're giving up the underneath there, but certainly that slide route was wide open.
So, Chester at their own 31. They'll hand this one off. Still going, and that's all tough yardage because he got hit at the line of scrimmage and he just kept his feet moving. That's some nice running from Alex Martin. Playing that 3-man defensive line, aren't they? And they're still managing to stop these runs. Is that because the linebackers are responding quickly to these? They're doing these run blitzes?
I think what they're going to do is, on 1st and 10, it looks like the Caesars aren't shy to run blitz. Again, showing pressure early and then making someone jump. Again, that's good stuff. I think they're very wary of the spread attack of Chester, which is why the ends are much wider. Typically, when you're in an odd front, those ends will be much tighter. They'll either be in F4I or certainly head up on the tackles, looking to work both the B gap and the C gap. But both ends here are very wide to try and bring pressure onto the quarterback from the edge and bring in an extra pressure in the linebacker. So really, they're bringing 4 almost every play and affecting the offensive line in different ways.
Jamie Gatley in that key nose tackle position as now the Caesars threaten blitz off the edge, but they don't come, and there's a nice hole ripped again. Does Alex Martin of about 5.
That's the issue you've got there when you are bringing an inside linebacker to the A gap and you've got the defensive end so wide, no one is really protecting that B gap, so it's the backside linebacker has to come and flow, or you have to have safety help.
3rd and a long 5 for Richard Hackham and Ellison. QB for Chester, rolling to his right, and that was open, but he just missed him in the flat, trying to get the ball to Josh Richmond.
And you look at the demeanour of the 2 defensive ends. Now it's Elliot Harvey, Elliot Ray down at the bottom, really emphasising that pass rush demeanour. And then he's stunted inside, allowed the outside linebacker to come off, and the QB rolled to his arm as opposed to booting back towards the sideline.
Flag down. Looks like it's going to go against Chester.
Yeah.
Sorry, against the Caesars, and so that will give Chester. Well, they've not moved the box as yet, but I think they were signalling a first down. Yeah, now they're changing it. So it's 1st and 10 for Chester, just outside the Caesars half. They'll hand it to Martin again, and he's met by Elliot Jeffrey. Picks up a gain of 3.
Those inside linebackers for the Caesars are working really well. They're climbing over blocks and squeezing. I think the nose tackle is also doing a really good job of drawing those double teams and allowing the linebackers to flow, which is why they are able to cut down on those inside runs.
Jamie Gatley still in at that key nose tackle position when you're playing this 3-man front.
I think what we're likely to see is the likes of Sam Robertson will come in, and maybe when they're getting towards
play action pick. Sorry, Jason. Picked off by Andrew Wilkins, who has a pick. So Wilkins, the old veteran, my good friend and coaching colleague at NTU as well, he gets the pick to shut down the drive, and that's a great play by him, using that tall body just to be there in that throwing lane. And
RPO slant, and that's what the Caesars did so well there. They saw the slant coming, and the Romans are a big fan of running that flash action, throwing the RPO and throwing it straight to the linebacker there. Great job. Now the big question here is, Karl, can the Caesars, again they were in this position not 5 minutes ago, capitalise on a key turnover and a key field position?
So they've got a couple of wideouts, but they're going to hand to Ben Pugh, left-hand side, and Chester, as you say, Jason, just crowding that line of scrimmage. Nowhere for Ben to go on that one.
Yeah,
you feel like they're trying to set something up, just play action, and then trying to get that ball out to those wideouts.
And I do think that the Caesars are hampered. I know they've got a couple of offensive linemen out. Vic Sogbeeson left the game early in the first quarter. They are trying to establish run, and that's where a lot of their depth is with likes of Nal Simpson and Ben Pugh and Welly Tafrigi and James Draper. They do want to establish the run, but the Romans are doing a really good job of
pressure. There. Oh, sorry, Jason. It's incomplete, that one. Trying to get it to Oluwatosin. And he's had one reception, I think, the entire game. I can only think of one. So they've really managed to shut him down.
Again, it's all down to the pressure of the Romans' defensive line. They're re-establishing the offensive line. Every single play, they're moving that line of scrimmage back 2-3 yards, which is forcing Lee McGovern to rush his throws, which means the running backs can't make their cuts and find lanes, and they're doing a really good job. Again, there's nothing flashy about it. They've got a low ceiling, they're playing man coverage, and they're just going to bring lots of pressure.
3rd and 11. This one, they will hand off to Niall Simpson, right-hand side. He'll pick up good yardage on that. So, yeah, again, it will bring up 4th down, but Grant Lawless is fearless when it comes to his 4th down plays. He's just going to call them and see what they get, and often running on 3rd down, so it feels more like a 2nd down play just to set up these 4th down attempts. Pistol formation now. Niall Simpson will take the ball left-hand side, cuts back in, and I don't think they got that. It's going to be a turnover on downs, and again the Chester defence hold firm.
One thing that has been really working for the Seas is that little boot action. Liam has found a couple of receivers open in the first half. I think I'll be tempted again to come back to that, to show the play action, to boot round and either dump it off to a tight end or a slot receiver coming out, or to keep it himself, because we know Liam McGovern's got some wheels himself and he can take off when he wants to.
So Chester managed to stay in touch. The interception from Andrew Wilkins results in no points for the Caesars offense. So Chester still in this one, still just Q3, and we know they can hit a play quickly. They hit Hussein El Ghul for their touchdown earlier on. So what can they do here? New quarterback in this time. We'll get a name for you in a second. That's the pick. Sam Fraser with the pick. Still on his feet. Look, gets bumped by his own man and in. Sam Fraser with a pick 6. Wow, he's just comes to life. That's his 2nd touchdown of the day.
Again, that's Spencer Burkle, I think, coming in to play quarterback there. Again, same sort of result. They run the RPO, flash play action to a slant to the receiver, and just Sam Fraser just stepped in front of it and picked it off.
Wow, amazing play from Sam Fraser. He's really been the guy that has made the difference now. Put up 12 points all by himself, and a great individual effort to get into the end zone there. I mean, he does those kick return abilities as well, doesn't he? So, he's got that ability to make it count as they go for the extra point. And that looks to be good. So the Caesars on the Sam Fraser pick 6 take the score to 21-7.
Absolutely, is that 14 points from special teams and defence, and again it emphasises how important those aspects of the game are. When the offence isn't quite ticking along the way it should do, that pressure, that field position, allowing the Romans to start in the shadow of their own end zone. Again, pressure creates diamonds, but it also bursts pipes.
Nice. I'm going to steal all these,
Simon's heard all these many, many times before.
I knew where you were going with that one.
Simon's still with us, doing a great job on the old camera work here. We do appreciate it, Simon.
How are the Caesars Juniors playing today? A big game against the Sheffield Giants. Do we know how that game's gone on?
Yeah, I spoke to Sean when I went down for coffee, and at that point it was half time and the Caesars were up 22-0, and he said they just scored on a 70 yards wedge play.
Wow.
So
they've got a good coaching staff there, the Caesars Juniors. They're doing things right there, and I think the relationship between the Nottingham universities, both Trent and UON, and the Caesars Juniors have really paying dividends for them.
El
Huge
Ghul
tackle
gets
there.
stood up, and that's a great hit by 25.
And that's Elliot Ray.
So that kick return came to a crunching end. Chester will take over again. They've really got to get something going. Back-to-back interceptions on their last 2 possessions. 1 return for a pick 6. So they're just having no joy in this Q3. It's been Caesars all the way with a fumble return for a touchdown off the initial kick return, and then a pick 6 from Sam Fraser. So
It's interesting that Spencer Burkle's come back out as the quarterback again. Just going to hand the ball off on a power play. Nice 8-yard gain.
keep the chat coming. We're glad you're with us, and thanks for joining us. I hope you're enjoying the stream. We know we had some teething problems and some noises earlier on, but everything seems to be calmed down and working, so we're pleased to bring you it. It's Spencer Burkill in at QB, as you identified, Jason, earlier, as they go in motion, but they'll just hand it to the running back, and then that's a great play by the nose tackle, I believe, on that. Actually, it's 55, which is Samuel Robertson. Yeah, nose tackle, just coming in and shutting that one down.
Yeah, Sam's a very dynamic player at the inside. He can play end, he can play nose tackle, he can two-gap, he can slant, he can stunt. And he's certainly a player that we're looking forward to utilising in the national programme a lot. Shotgun.
Burkill will go over the top, double coverage, and trying to get the ball to El Ghul, but Paddy Fisher and Mickey might be both brothers actually teaming up there to shut that one down.
I spoke to Mickey early in the week, and he's slightly aggrieved that his brother's got one more interception than he has. I think he'll be looking to get that back. I'm impressed that Mickey's lasted 3 quarters of the game so far. Mickey not known for his durability.
Paddy
still competing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Chester were asking for a flag for offside on that last play. All the offensive line turned around asking for it. Probably explain the shot play.
Yeah. 4th and 5 though. Referees having none of it. Stuart Andrew, part of that refereeing crew today. We'll see if we can get you some other names as well. That's a terrible snap, and he just manages to get it away. It will take a bounce, and it will take a nice Chester bounce in the end. So it went from a disastrous start to that one, but the punter did well, and they will drive the Caesars back well inside their own 20, Jason.
Yeah, it's a very good refereeing staff today. Chris Halverson is one sideline, Stuart Andrew, I think Paul Todd is the white hat today. So it's quite an experienced, albeit 4-man crew, and I think they've got a lot right today.
Yeah, agreed. It's been well called as we come to the end of Q3. So, at the end of Q3, Caesars up 21-7 over the Romans. And what can the Romans do to try and get back into this one, Jason?
I think they need to be brave and need to be courageous. I know the Caesar drop a lot in coverage. I think they need to take some shots, those chunk plays that they can do by shooting and throwing the ball downfield. Their touchdown came from a false start from the Caesars. I think that's what they need to do. They need to start making the Caesars defence play left-handed and playing unbalanced. And at the moment it's very linear, it's very easy for the Caesars defence to flow. I think we need to see something from the Romans defence as well. They're battling hard and they can't do it all themselves. Again, look at that box there.
So the Caesars start Q4 on their own 17 with the rain coming down. Liam will go and use his feet to try and find the edge, and that's a great play by 33 to track him down. It's Perry Dench who makes the tackle, and Liam just couldn't get around him.
Yeah. And that's something we were asking to see in the last drive, is getting McGovern out of the pocket and see if he can roll there. He was more of a roll as opposed to a boot. Again, it looks like James Hudson's down there for the Romans. And as the rain comes down, it's not a place where you want to be.
Absolutely not. Perry Dench, I think, coming in there from his safety position to make that play. So using great speed to track Liam down. And those naked bootlegs can go one way or the other, can't they?
Absolutely.
Depending on how the defence responds to it. So as we take this little break in the action, Jason, I've got you here.
Mm-hmm.
Bucks football. You're obviously, it's UE, it's UON. We've had that twice now, 2 years in a row, and they've been absolute classic games. But each time you've come away, being the bridesmaid rather than the bride. So, I mean, how do you handle that in terms of the coaching and coming back next year to go through it all again?
It's always tough, isn't it? And whilst it's nice to win national championship, win games, I think we've accomplished a lot at UON over the last 3 years, in terms of what we're doing, in terms of developing the sport and developing our athletes.
I'll come back to you to hear more on that in a second as we get this 2nd and 10 for the Caesars, and this one they'll give to Sam Fraser, and that goes nowhere again. So Chester maybe a yard for Sam, so it's going to bring up 3rd and long.
That was Niall Simpson, wasn't it, in the back?
Sorry, Niall Simpson.
Yeah, I think that what we're doing, it's all, as I said earlier, it's all about processes for us. We stack enough good practices and good processes together, we're going to win on Sundays. And to be one score short of the last 2 finals is tough, mentally and emotionally. But we just kind of keep rebounding. All we're focusing on now is having a really good pre-season and get this new intake together and continue to grow. Last season we sent, I think there was 11 players from UN in the 100-man GB squad.
3rd and 9, we'll come back to Jason. Liam dropping back, and he will find an open receiver to the sideline. Ben Harrison dodging and weaving and trying to get more, and he will go down and retain the ball. So pick up a 13, nice play, Liam, to Ben Harrison.
Yeah, a bunch of guys in the GB squad. We sent Finley Old to the CFL Combine in Edmonton. We've had a number of players go to play in Europe. John Mbenefo playing only his 2nd season, his 1st year at Nottingham last year, going to play professionally in GFL 2.
Caesars go hurry up, and this will be Niall Simpson bottled up in the backfield. Good play by Chidibem Nwosu. He's done that a couple of times this game.
And then the likes of Tafumi Lala signing for the Hamburg Sea Devils. Again, a development product from the UN. Hadn't played before he came to university. So those are things we look for. As well as our green team going on the road to Aberdeen and winning their first ever playoff game. We're the first university in Bucks history to win 2 playoff games on the same day. So there's lots of really positive things happening at the University of Nottingham. Yeah, we finished a score short again, but that's not reflective of what a successful season we've had.
2nd and 14 for Liam after that great play by Nwosu, and he will drop now. That's a good defensive play. He was just trying to get the ball to Harrison again, but that's well defended by, I think, number 34. Is that Tim Edwards back into the game? I think it might be. So nice play. Actually 33, and that is Perry Dench, who's had a couple of nice plays.
So we've got Prospect Day next Saturday. We're bringing, I think, 65 young athletes onto campus to develop their skills and inform them about university. And if that's University of Nottingham, that's great. But again, we want to highlight the opportunities that higher education football and Bucks football has. Last weekend we had an under 14 flag tournament here where we had 140 people on the field, parents and athletes from 8 teams.
3rd and 14, looks like Liam might have a free play on this one. Over the top to Ben, and did he come down with it? They say yes. Nice catch from Ben Harrison on the sideline.
So again, it's all part of what we want to do is build a successful and a strong foundation and build from there. And I know Bucks football is going to get even more competitive this year, but I think that the processes and the foundation we've put down so far is going to stand us in really good stead.
Got a message in from Matt Walker who says, great work team, gutted I can't be with you today, sounds like Jason's taken my job, top work coach. Yeah, he has, and that's it. So we're happy that that's happened, and Matt, get well soon, buddy.
Yeah, Matt, you can have
that's
your
what
job.
happens if you're sick.
Matt can have his job back in on the 5th of August. I'll be busy that day.
3rd and 7. That play came back on the flag, so Ben's great athletic ability just comes to note on the flag as more pressure this time forces the incompletion, trying to get the ball to, I'll give you a name in a second, James Cantrill on the crossing pattern. But again, like you say, Jason, that pressure from Chester's just been there all day.
It's not big, it's not clever, they're just going to come after you, you're going to pin your ears back, and I think Liam got let down a little bit by some of the protection there. The Seas are playing a dangerous game. You know, they need to make sure they can move the ball. They can't leave it all to defence and special teams, or leave it all to Sam Fraser individually, because it looks like Sam is a one-man wrecking machine. Maybe play him at receiver.
And we're getting people on the chat that are saying, Jason, start that man. Sam Fraser is a god. We can see those. As the snap comes in, the punt is away, and it's a high punt that... Well, let's see where it went out of bounds. Did it get into Chester territory? No, it didn't. So high and short, and Chester will take over within the Caesars half. So still just those 2 scores, both by Sam Fraser in the second half. So still life for the Chester Romans.
Absolutely, and the Caesars need to take that away. The strongest thing that any team can have in the game is hope. You know, it's one thing that I really impress on the Nottingham team is we need to take hope away at the start of the game. 2 teams feel like they've got a chance. We need to remove the sense of hope and an opportunity they have, and the Romans are very much in this game. You know, what can the Caesars do to put them out the game emotionally?
Richard Hackerman-Ellison is back on. They'll hand this one off, and that's some great defensive play. Linebacker just not allowing him to turn the corner. Boris Gavin, 57, just tracking his man and bringing him down. So good play by him. And he's actually gone down off the back of that play, so hope he's okay. They're calling the medics on. Just seemed to get a knock right at the end of that one.
Good flow again by the Caesars there. Who is down there?
Yeah, Boris Gavin, 57.
Yeah, Durham Saints linebacker Boris Gavin playing up there in the Bucks Premier North.
Hurls his helmet to the ground, so I think he's frustrated, but that won't do his helmet any good. As a coach, you always watch that and go, don't chuck your helmet. I suppose we'll give him a break since he's injured.
Yeah, I've been in those situations before where you just need the helmet off, and if you've got a head injury or a neck injury, and there's this again a sense of frustration there where he's done all the right things, he's made a good play, and he's just got, I don't know whether it was a knee to the back of his helmet on the way down.
He's back on his feet and the medics are with him, so he should be okay. Chester looking to make something happen. Gavin got him for a loss on that one, so they're behind the sticks already on this second down. Interesting that they've swapped Richard Hackerman-Ellison back in at QB. And that's a big hole up the middle. Still trucking his way. That's a gain of 16 and a first down all the way to the Caesars 27 yard line.
We see the change in perspective in the run game here. Again, the Caesars are in again a spread, typical offense, trips to the top of the field there and look at how light the Caesars box is.
Run blitz coming in, and it's Isaac Sarr with the big takedown in the backfield. The NTU linebacker really on that. You were saying earlier, these run blitzes from the linebackers, and he just hit that hole at speed and tracks the runner down before he's even got a chance to get anything going. Great play, Isaac.
And what they're trying to do is use the 4 defensive linemen plus a linebacker and let the other inside linebacker flow and react. That's clear. We've got a cover 4 shell here.
Blitz coming. Quarterback's got to get rid of it over the middle and incomplete. Decent coverage and good pressure. Flag down in the backfield.
In the region of a hold, I think that is. Unless it's an inadvertent hand to the face. You know, the pressure was on the quarterback towards the end.
Bit of chin wagging going on there between the Caesars and Chester player. Each of these teams making their cases for the flag. And it will go against Chester. So after that big run, they now find themselves in a big hole. Third and bus ride. 3rd and 20, 22 maybe. And this is where you can sit back as the Caesars, 4 defensive backs, 5 defensive backs. They send the blitz from Isaac, trying to get to the flat, but his knee was down, and he takes a lick as well from Sam Fraser.
Asking for a flag there.
Yeah.
I think you'd be lucky to get that.
Knee was down, Sam's coming in at speed. You just want to make sure that player not going to get any more yards. So they go even further backwards on this series. Caesars defence pushing Chester. They'll be back into their own territory if they have another loss.
The Romans got a big physical offensive line, but there's a lot of athleticism on that front there from the Caesars.
Twins to the top, twins to the bottom, as Richard Hackman Ellison tries to get him out of this hole. And they're saying, yeah, and they got him on the offside, on the false start. Yeah, it was wide receiver Josh Richmond that moved too soon, and the point in the hands go up.
Caesars got 5 defensive backs on the field. They've got more of a nickel upside. Roche 21 has come into the outside linebacker to the field, so I think they'll be definitely in coverage here. I won't be surprised if we only see a 3-man pressure from the Caesars and drop everyone back.
So they are into their own territory now, Chester.
Trips to the boundary, this will be interesting. This is kind of a screen kind of territory.
Hackman Ellison takes a snap, and they do go for the screen. It's picked!
Is that Henry Scanlon?
Scanlon down the sideline, and he will be tackled, but what a great athletic play. Tipped and then picked. And
just got into the passing lane.
Yeah, Henry Scanlon with the big turnover. So the Caesars defence coming up big again, Jason.
Yeah, huge. And I just said, they alluded to the speed and athleticism of the Caesars front. They're only using 5 men to defend the run, as it showed with the big hole they found on first down, but they've knocked them back because of the quality in the defensive backfield and the speed and how well they flow. I think that really you need to look at someone like Will Jepson, number 31, who really marshals and corrals the troops and keeps everyone organised. Really high football IQ, and what he lacks in athleticism, he more than makes up for in putting people in the right place. Ace formation.
Yeah, Liam's still in. 7 men at that line of scrimmage. Double tight ends in as they hand this one to Willie T, who's back on. And look at all those Chester Romans there. They're just corralling for no yards. Ball comes out at the end of that play, but they're going to blow it dead.
It looks like Grant Lawless has doubled down. He said, well, if you're going to have a heavy box, and we'll have 2 guys onto the field and see if we can create some extra space and extra gaps. I'd like to see them run a bit of empty and see if we can spread them out and see if we can force one of those linebackers, those big linebackers, to cover someone like Josh Oliver-Tusin in space.
They come back out with that ace set, as you said, Jason. So 2 tight ends in, giving the 7 men at that line of scrimmage, and then just Willie T, that big running back in pistol formation behind Liam.
Yeah, they loaded the safety to the boundary to account for the extra gap.
play action, and they will go over the top to Oliver Tosin. Oh, in and out of the hands in the end. It was a great play by the defensive back who had to rally to knock the ball out of the basket. Ollie Willett on the play to deny Oliver Tosin the touchdown.
Yeah, they forced the safety to the boundary to come and play in the box and play the run, which means it's a true one-on-one to the outside. And Oliver Tosin was unlucky to bring that in, but it's great coverage there by the cornerback.
Ollie Willett with a nice play for Chester. They've had some highlights on defence of Chester, but those 2 Sam Fraser touchdowns in Q3 just broke their back in terms of the score. And the Caesars in charge at the moment, 2 scores up. They've got Welly T in the backfield now. And Liam will roll out again under all sorts of pressure, just has to get rid of it. That pressure coming off his backside that time, and just no time for that play to develop, trying to get something to the sideline.
No, there's so many drives for the season. They're stuck on the 20-yard line, 3rd and 10. You know, what can they do here? Are they going to dial up another big play to Oliver Tosin or to Harrison? What are they looking at here? That
4th down, in fact, it's 4th down. So yeah, you're right, Jason. Let's see what they can do here. Grant has
Ben Pugh's come into the backfield, back into the backfield. Elliot Harvey back in the slot.
Play coming in. Liam gives it the 2 clap, and away they go. Twins to top, twins to the bottom. Ben Pugh just to Liam's right, but he will drop back to pass again. They try and get Oliver Tosin, and this time he's in. So he makes a great catch, but the flag is down. You wonder whether that's a DPI and that play will stand, but we'll see.
Oliver Tosin did a great job of going up to get it there. Did he impede the defender on the way up? Remember, the ball's in the air. Both players have got the right for the ball, but they cannot be contacting each other.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, it looks like there's the signal. So offensive pass interference. Good call, Jason. Yeah, so it was Oliver Tosin with a great catch, but an illegal catch in the end, and back it comes.
Yeah, it's a little bit savvy, it's a little bit smart by the receivers. A lot of receivers do it on almost every down, just using their arms and leverage to try and create a little bit of space. And Oliver Tosin normally does a great job of bringing those contested balls in. Obviously, the judge on the near sideline thought he did it illegally.
Trips to the top now, as it's 4th and 20 after that big PI call. Liam dancing around and will find some space. Can he elude the linebacker? He can. He's made 10, 11, 12. So he'll get out of bounds, but Chester will take over at their 18-yard line. So Liam using his feet, but just too much to do on that play.
That's what I'd see Liam do, is instead of go wide and trying to escape pressure laterally, don't mind when the actual called boots or rolls, step up into the pocket, keep his eyes downfield and see if he can see something. He didn't, it was able to take off. And what this does again, it forces Chester to start their offense in the shadow of their own end zone on the 15-yard line coming out. Again, they need to score, they need to go the whole length of the field to score.
So 21-7, Chester need 2 quick scores, and the way the play's going, we talk a lot about momentum up in the booth. Does it feel the same when you're down there on the sideline coaching?
It really does. I think in this case, no team has momentum, but definitely Caesars, I think, again, talking about hope, they seem to have kind of lost a little bit of hope and faith in what they can do. You know, Caesars now can just play prevent defense. They've got 5 DBs on the field. Cy Roche is in as that nickel outside linebacker, and they're just going to force the Romans to run the ball, put guys in coverage, and see if they can chip away, knowing that they don't have the time to have those big plays.
They open this account with a 6-yard run. 2nd and 4. As they bring Josh Richmond in motion, but they hand it up the middle again, and that's going to be enough for the 1st down, so the sticks will move.
3 yards again at this stage is not going to do it. You know, the Romans need to do something spectacular and roll the dice and throw the ball up. And if they get a pick, they get a pick. But they need to try and win. At the moment, They're just trying to generate a little bit of momentum and try to keep hold of the ball.
Dukes in the backfield with Richard Hackham and Ellison. Snap is up. They give it to Dukes again, and they seem content with just continuing to run these plays on the ground. And you think it's just a lack of motivation to win? Are they just sort of settling now for this score and let's get into the playoffs, or what?
Again, maybe it is. Maybe with the Northern Conference being so tight, a lot of talented teams, there's not a lot between the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th seed. I think what the Romans need to do is just make sure they are staying competitive, get one score, because the 2 scores down, but you need to get the first score before they get the second score. So I think they want to make sure they've got the ball and they're not making any mistakes. And the time is a wasting. And is that a 2-minute warning there? No, it's not. It's first down.
Clock's still running. Sticks will move.
Again, maybe the Romans fancy themselves with this offense that can score at any point, any time. Or are they trying to lull the season into a sense of false security?
Motion. Dukes again. Left-hand side. Same play. Pick up of 3.
The Romans' big touchdown was down to ill discipline by the Caesars, and there was a jump. It's caused the DBs to stop for a second, and the receiver ran straight by them.
El Ghul is the single receiver to the top of your screen. He was the man that scored that touchdown, the only touchdown that Chester have put on the board. Again, it's Dukes. And they continue to run it. The chains will move again as they move into the Caesars half.
Again, hard count. What the Caesars defence need to do and the defensive coordinator needs to do now is not to second guess themselves. They are taking time off the clock. This is a bend but don't break sort of circumstance. Keep things the way they are. They're 2 scores up. They just need to make sure they're playing the game.
Hackham and Ellison. Now he will go to the aerial. Try that screen. It's El Ghul, and Jepson comes over, I believe, to make the tackle on that one. So they do finally go to the air. But again, and there's a flag coming in for maybe a late hit out of bounds. We'll see what that is. Or it came so late, actually, it might be some chatting going on the sideline.
Yeah, it just seems to be where the offence is huddled. So I don't know if someone in the offensive huddle took exception to that. Stuart Andrew on that sideline as the official.
See what the flag is. They're offering it to Chester. But the play, they go to the air, but they just go to that short screen pass, still playing it safe.
Absolutely, it's high percentage, low risk. What is a screen? A screen is basically an elongated handoff. Yeah, it's against Chester.
Wow, that's going to punish them on this drive. They're moving the ball well, albeit on the ground, and it's taking a lot of time off the clock, but that's going to put them in a hole now. So it will be 4th and 20.
2nd and 20. 2nd and 25. That was a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, you're right, Jay. 2nd down. Apologies. Let's see what Chester can do here.
I don't think the Caesars have got their alignment right here. They've got the nickel down here to the field. They really need to be over towards a bunch.
They'll hand it off, and it will be that nickel player that just trips the running back up. So it was Cy Roche, number 21, that trips the runner up. But they just are relying on the feet of Nathan Dukes to keep this ball moving. So he picks up a good gain on that 2nd down. It's going to bring up 3rd and 14, a long 14, maybe 15. Trips to the top, single receiver, Ghul at the bottom.
And look at the space there in the front. They're almost inviting the Romans to run the ball.
And they do run it with Dukes, and that's a nice play by the defensive end there, coming off that block. I think it was Samuel. Is it 50? Let's get a number for you.
59. Aaron Anderson.
Yeah, Aaron Anderson with a
recent
great
transfer
play
from Leicester. Aaron Anderson plays his football at University of Derby.
really good acquisition, and just came off his block as defensive end and just straight into the running back.
Fourth down. I'm surprised that the Romans were punting this, given how the seasons haven't really hurt them on offence.
Yeah, and you're at midfield. It just feels a bit of that lack of ambition around Chester just as we get into this Q4. They will punt. And that one will just come to rest at the 10-yard line. So they do pin the Caesars back. Oh, late hit's gone in. Flags come in. I think that's going to be against Jepson maybe, who hit number 12, who was Jack Nash. Went to the ground and flag came in.
Maybe that's what the Romans want to do. Yeah, they think the best form of offence is their defence. You know, now the team's offence are looking particularly convincing. They wonder if the best chance to score is to put pressure on the Caesars, force them into a mistake and get them to turn the ball over deep in the territory. It's a nice punt. You know, the ball's currently been spotted on the 10-yard line. If this is half the distance to the goal, then the Caesars will be starting on the 5-yard line, again with a whole field to work on. And I think they'll be looking to run the clock down and keep the clock ticking. And they've got to be careful that they don't shoot themselves in their own foot here.
Yeah, they have had the 3 turnovers, haven't they? They had the 2 fumble recoveries, and they also had the interception. So Chester are able to create these turnovers. And you're right, Jason. The ball bounces their way, and they'd be set up in good field position, which they've struggled with throughout the game. Let's be honest.
And you're inviting the Caesars to do things that they've not been comfortable doing. And the Romans are going to stack the box. They're going to play with a low ceiling, and the safeties both in a run-fit demeanour. They're going to play man coverage to the outside and force Adam McGovern to have a low percentage throw to Oliver Tootin or Harrison on the outside, or to run the ball.
So the referee...
It looks like it's offsetting penalties.
Yeah, it looks like that as he's reading off his notes to get this call right. It looks like there was several transgressions that took place on that play. They're gonna just do the smart thing, which is, look, they all offset. Chester get the ball. Let's restart.
I think he was just checking for if there was any more USCs. That's the equivalent of a yellow card, and just checking to make sure that the players involved weren't already on a USC, because 2 USCs would have been an ejection. And again, here they are, pure man coverage, linebackers at 3 yards. They're eager. And again, season again, 2 backs, they want to run the ball.
So Caesars will want to keep the ball here. They will send the blitz, and they're in Liam's face straight away, and he does a nice job getting the ball away, but Nathan Hall just couldn't make the reception.
Playing a dangerous game, running almost like a tight end screen that close to your own end zone. Anything could have happened there. McGovern had the presence of mind to be able to find his target, but under duress.
2nd and 10. Can't be that much time in this Q4 left. We've not had the 2-minute warning as yet, but we must be close. Play coming in. James Draper will take this one, and he'll be met at that line of scrimmage and stuffed. No gain on that. Third and 10, and maybe that, you know, what you were saying, Jason's coming to pass, is that now they've got him in a long 3rd and long situation.
Again, you've got a tight and trip situation here. You know, I think they will want to run the ball and keep the clock ticking, but knowing they've got to punt the ball back to the Romans. And is that the 2-minute warning, or was that a timeout?
That is 2 minutes. So, I mean, you can't. You need 2 scores in 2 minutes if you're the Romans and you don't have the ball currently. So it's a tall order, but like you say, they just need the 1, and then you build on what you have left. I mean, I've seen you do amazing things in 2 minutes.
And this is where special teams are so important. Is you need someone who can either block a punt or return a punt, and then get ready for an onside kick to recover. And these situations where we spend a lot of time at practice repping those things. So in games, it feels like a regular occurrence. It's not an unusual occurrence for us to kick onside kicks or
they'll send the blitz and try and get on the slant, and that was very close to being an interception. Ollie Willett again was right there. And as you say, Jason, playing a dangerous game. Punt.
Right, Karl, put yourselves in the shoes of the Chester Roman special teams coordinator. Are you going to try and block this kick, or are you going to try and return it for a touchdown?
I'm after the block. I mean, as a defense coordinator, I'd probably try and get the block on this. But where are they? They're at the 10-yard line. So, yeah, the punter's he can use the full 16, 17 yards that he needs to get the ball away. So you're saying you'd focus on the return?
No, I'd focus on the block. I think returns, there's so much chaos going around. People are never in the place that you want to be in terms of blocking the ball. I just send everyone after the ball.
Yeah, I would have done as well, but they don't. They will go with the return, and that's a nice coverage tackle from Scott Bernard.
And that's a great catch by number 82 there. Simba Ojok, under pressure to bring that in, and it's no easy task to catch a ball cleanly. Well, 11 guys are barreling down at you. And the Romans get, again, a possession inside the Caesars territory.
So it's a 33-yard punt, no return, and Chester will take over inside the Caesars half, inside 2 minutes. And we'll see what their ambition is for this game now, whether they have just, settled on this 21-7 score or whether they will try and get in.
Again, the Caesars are inviting the Romans to run on them. The triangle coverage on both sides, there you can see that the coverage.
Hackham and Ellison will complete that one, and that will go for a first down. So a nice play on first down. Caesar's kind of giving that up. That's Aaron Powell on the reception. Sticks will move. And the Caesars will be content to just let those sort of anything underneath be complete, come up, make the tackle. It
looks like they're running some sort of palms or some read coverage there. You've got the apex defender is going to be the first man out guy. The corners are going to read the concepts.
Blitz coming. They will get it to Dukes. He's tackled really well.
And tackled inbounds.
Yeah, great job there. I think it was 28 that came over to make that tackle. That can't have been 28. We'll get a number 27.
No, timeout Romans.
Harry Johnson, I think, on the tackle there. Romans will stop the clock, had to, because that tackle was inbounds. 2nd and 10.
They need to take a shot now. I mean, we must be inside, maybe even inside a minute left.
Still, Dukes and Hackham and Ellison in the backfield for Chester. Play action. Going to his left-hand side, complete. Nice catch over the middle. Chester need to move quickly now.
Hustle to the line, spike the ball.
That is Simba Ojok.
Again, there's a flag.
Flag down.
Is this a hold? Is this a roughing the passer? What do we get here?
Yeah, I mean, it's right near where the quarterback released the ball.
Hold.
And back go Chester after that nice catch from Simba Ojok. Nothing you can do about that when you're offensive lineman. Guys coming past you. You don't want to give up the sack, and you've got to take your chances on the hold.
I believe it's called blocking with grip.
I've never been called for one of those.
2nd and 10. 2nd and 20 now after that hold, rather.
6 guys in coverage for the Caesars here.
Blitz from Isaac Sarr going. He had him open but overthrew him. Offensive lineman for Chester's down. He's now getting back to his feet.
Post wheel combo there. They're looking to find a window between the low defender and the high defender.
You feel like if that had been accurate, could have done something with it.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, the safeties are playing quite wide. I've been looking at double posts here.
Trips to the bottom. And it's Hackham and Ellison who's audibling to a check down play. Take the snap. He will go on the streak to El Ghul, picked, and that will seal it for the Caesars.
That was like Will Hobbs.
And let's see who the number was. 38, is it?
Is that Paddy
Josh
Fisher?
Jackman. Wow, helmet's off. Looks like he's taken a
38.
knock. So Josh Jackman, great camera work there, Simon, with the pick. And that'll shut down the Romans' drive. And that'll put, well, that, as you were saying, will take the hope right out of Chester, which is exactly what the Caesars wanted. But they had to take a chance trying to go to their top receiver, El Ghul, and Jackman in the right place at the right time.
The Caesars should be able to kneel it out from here. I'm not sure what the game clock says, but there can't be long left now.
Yeah, you just don't want any further mistakes from the Caesars. They've had their own turnover problems today. Just make sure that exchange between the centre and the QB is solid.
I think credit goes to the Chester Romans defensive front. Now, they've played tough all game. They've not allowed a very talented running game to get going and forced the likes of Liam McGovern to try and scramble and improvise on his feet. So it's a very good job by the interior line and the linebackers.
So it looks like Liam will take a knee, and he does. They're going to have to run this clock. Have you been impressed by the Caesars play today, or do you feel like it was they just came and did the job they needed to do?
Yeah, certainly the atmosphere I got from before the game is they were very buoyed by their performance last week. Very emotive win away at Chester. And I think some of them had half an eye on winning the division title. I think they need to tidy up a lot of things going into the playoffs because there's lots of talented teams. Now, on paper, the Caesars are as talented as anyone else in Division 1. They just need to iron out some of the inconsistencies they've got.
So they're nearly out, will Liam. And that'll be just about it here. We'll wait for the signal to come up. Liam's taking his helmet off, and there the handshakes go in. So we have a final whistle blows here, and it's the Nottingham Caesars 21, the Chester Romans 7, and with that the Nottingham Caesars will take North Division 1 South, and that is a great season for them, unbeaten up to this point. And Chester, their closest rivals, and they couldn't do the job today. It was very close that first half, but with those two Sam Fraser touchdowns, one fumble return for a touchdown and then a pick six, just put it to bed. And then Caesars defence coming up with two big interceptions in Q4 to shut down these Chester drives. It's been great spending time with you today, Jason. Your final thoughts on the game?
No, it's two really good defences. I think that was one thing I've been really impressed with. Both teams came in here. Chester obviously renowned for having a high-powered spread power offense, putting 50, 60 points on a lot of teams. And again, Caesars again doing really, really good things on offense. But for it to be a defensive battle, again, the old adage is offense wins games, defense wins championships. Have we seen a preview of the Division 1 champions here with that strong defence led by the likes of Will Hobbs and Mickey Fisher and Will Jepson and Sam Robertson, playing really, really well, really hard-nosed, intelligent football, coming away with key turnovers in the second half, forcing a high-powered offence to make mistakes. And that's what I'll look forward to seeing, and how they play against the likes of the Vikings, the Highland Stags, Scunthorpe Alphas, and all the other teams in the mix. Are they able to win those big games in the playoffs? And it looks like a lot of the playoffs will go through the David Ross Sports Village and hosting home field advantage, which again is huge.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a pleasure having you with us. I've really enjoyed it. Always learn loads of stuff when speaking to you, and appreciate everything you're doing for the sport. Do get down to Coventry, to Butts Arena in Coventry on August the 5th, and watch this man in action leading the Great Britain Lions in that what should turn out to be an epic battle against France. Really looking forward to do the commentary on that one. So do support your national team. And Simon, thank you for your input today as well. You've been fantastic on the graphics and commentating, just an everyman, an amazing job. Your final thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I think the Caesars definitely have to improve on offence. They've got some tough teams to come up against, and it's not going to be, the defence isn't always going to be our whole teams to 7. Obviously, really helpful when they do, but the offence needs to be able to regularly score 21, 28 points to put teams away in the playoffs.
Excellent. Well, lots of exciting stuff coming up for you in American football. And we'll see you at Butts Park Arena in Coventry on the 5th of August. Get your tickets now. Jason, Simon, thank you very much. My name's been Karl Walkinshaw, and it's been a pleasure to have you on the live stream. We'll see you very soon. Bye for now.